everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. Today I wanted to share some of my go-to makeup products to achieve a minimal makeup look. I would say the makeup I do day to day, 90% of the time, is very minimal and requires not a lot of effort to put together a whole look. So I thought that I would share some of the products that I reach for a lot when I just want something really quick, easy and minimal. So if you enjoy, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already, and let's get into it. So I have a couple of primer options to start with, and the first one is by HEIMISH. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. It's the ARTLESS Glow Base, and this has an SPF of 50, which is really, really good, and is pretty much why I'm including this, because it kind of takes care of the SPF and primer step all in one. This does have a really nice subtle sheen to it. It's not a super glowy illuminating primer, but it does kind of give your skin a nice soft focus. Yeah, a nice glow. It feels really nice and lightweight on the skin. It's hydrating, and of course the SPF 50 is just very, very important, especially as we're coming into, you know, spring and summer. We really do want that high protection. HEIMISH is a K beauty brand, so you know that it's going to feel really nice and lightweight on the skin and be packed full of really good skin loving ingredients. Next is one that is a little bit glowier and is one that I reach for if I am wearing a particularly sheer foundation, and it's the Revlon Skin Lights Face Glow Illuminator. This is one of my favourite illuminating primers. It just gives the skin a really nice radiance to it. It's very dewy. It's a really good versatile product as well. I mix it in with my foundation. I apply it just on top of the skin as a primer, and also on the tops of my cheekbones if I want an extra little bit of illumination. This is a really nice one. It's very affordable as well, being Revlon. I have a few other shades. I have the shade 300, which gives me a nice kind of bronzy tint, which is really nice in the summer. They do have a couple of other colour options as well. So yeah, I really do enjoy this one. That's what I'm wearing underneath my foundation today. So I have 4 different base options, and I think this is probably the most important step if you are wanting to achieve a nice lightweight minimal base. These are pretty much all skin tints or BB cream, tinted serum like products, because I feel like that fits the category best, and a lot of these I've used for quite a long time, so I really do stand by these, and I think they are really nice lightweight formulas. So I'm going to start with one that I've been using pretty much every day at the moment. I've added it into my daily makeup basket, and it's the ERBORIAN Super BB Cream. This is a very glowy product. It's quite emollient, and I personally find that it does need to be set down with a powder, otherwise it might turn a tiny bit greasy throughout the day. If you have normal to oily skin, be a tiny bit wary of this, because it's a very emollient formula. But if you have dry skin, that means it's going to be really nice and hydrating. So yeah, I do really enjoy this one. I find it to be quite smoothing on the skin. It doesn't emphasize any texture or settle into fine lines. I would have to double check the shade range on this. The particular one that I have is Nude, but I will leave a link down below where you can pick this up from. And yeah, that will have all of the shade details, etc. But I'm not sure this is the most extensive range, but it is quite a flexible formula anyway. Next up I have the Rose Inc Tinted Serum. Is that what it's called? Yeah. This is the newest one in my collection, and I did a whole review on this, so if you want to see that, I will link it for you. The shade match for me is just about tolerable. I think I need to definitely go up a shade or two, especially as we move into the summer months. This might just be a little bit too pale for me, and you will see that in the review that I did. The shades were a tiny bit iffy for my particular skin tone. They do run quite pale, so that's something to bear in mind. But the formula itself is extremely lightweight. So you pump it out and you basically massage it into the skin, and the tiny pigment beads will release and it just melts into the skin. It's quite a watery formula, and I was quite worried that it would break up throughout the day, or that it would just be a bit too oily on the skin, but actually it has a really nice skin-like finish to it. So I do enjoy this one. It's incredibly lightweight, so if you have normal to dry skin, or if you're just after a base product that is basically just like a serum, then I think this is a really nice one to go for. If you are on more of a budget, I think the L'Oreal True Match Tinted Serum is a really nice option. This probably has the most amount of coverage out of the 4 options that I'm sharing today, but it still manages to feel really lightweight and hydrating on the skin. It has 1% pure hyaluronic acid in there, which is really good at plumping the skin. So if you suffer with texture, fine lines, if you have more mature skin, I think this is a really nice flattering formula that won't emphasize any lines or texture. If I had to pick one out of the 4, I think this is the one that I would probably go for day to day, because it does offer a touch more coverage than the others, and therefore I just find it to be a bit more flexible. You can build it up in the evening if you want. It is quite a dewy product, so I wouldn't build it too much because it doesn't set down a whole lot. So yeah, you might feel like you look a tiny bit oily if you build it too much, but for me 1 to 2 layers is absolutely fine. And I do really like the finish on the skin. It's nice and dewy, but it's not overly dewy. You know, it's not emollient or greasy. I don't want to say greasy because that sounds really bad. It's not too emollient like a couple of the other formulas. It just leaves a really nice kind of natural satin finish on the skin. And the one that I am wearing at the moment is the Glossier Perfecting Skin Tint. I couldn't do a minimal makeup roundup without featuring Glossier because they were the pioneers, I feel, of the minimal makeup aesthetic. They were one of the first brands to really dive in deep into the whole minimal makeup look. So yeah, the Perfecting Skin Tint is one that I really enjoy. This is in my project pan at the moment, so this is what I'm wearing on my skin today, just because I want to try and use it as much as I can. Yeah, this is a very lightweight, practically shears out into nothing formula, but I do really enjoy it. It gives just a nice even veil across the skin. It doesn't have a lot of coverage. I would say it has pretty much next to no coverage, but it will just even out the skin tone a tiny bit, and also just even out the finish of the skin as well. This is very comparable to a lightweight kind of lotion moisturizer, but that does make it very dry skin friendly. And for the spring and summer, if you want to feel like you have absolutely nothing on the skin, this is the one that I would go for. In terms of application and how I would apply the skin tints, for me a beauty blender is the best way. The sponge will just help to soak up some of the excess product, so you're not applying too much onto the skin. If you use a brush or a finger, it won't soak up as much as the product, which I guess is a plus point, but it also means that you are just getting a tiny bit more product and potentially more coverage on the skin, which if you want that, that's great. And I do use the brush quite a lot as well. But for me, a beauty blender is my go-to if I want a really nice, lightweight, flawless finish on the skin. For the Glossier Skin Tint, I do use my fingers because it's such a lightweight, watery formula that for me, a beauty blender or a brush, it just eats up way too much of the product and it just seems very wasteful. So I do use my fingers because that's just how I find I get the most product onto my skin. There was only one concealer that really came to mind when I think about minimal makeup, and that's the Glossier Stretch. This is the tinted moisturizer of the concealer world. I've never quite come across a formula that is like this. It is literally like a tinted eye cream. It's so hydrating. It's very emollient, very creamy. It looks really flattering under the eyes and across the skin because it does just act like tinted moisturizer. And also you can kind of use this in place of a tinted moisturizer. I've done that quite a few times. Just taken a brush, dipped it in the pot and buffed it across my skin. And yeah, it's a really nice base actually. So don't just limit this to under the eyes or on any blemishes. It does make a really nice base product as well. So yeah, I do enjoy this one. Like I said, it's very lightweight, and being almost like a tinted eye cream type product, it doesn't offer a huge amount of coverage, but it gives me enough anyway to get by. And if you layer it over the top of something like the L'Oreal True Match, which has a tiny bit more coverage on its own, then you can get a really nice flawless finish with that. I do definitely prefer to reach for creams over powders if I want a minimal, effortless look. I find them to be just a tiny bit more flattering on the skin. They melt in really nicely and they just help to give your skin a nice boost of radiance. The one that I've been enjoying is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is a slightly more sheer formula, which is why I've chosen it today for this video, because again, that just makes it incredibly easy to apply and blend onto the skin. You'll be able to see in the cutaway just how effortlessly this blends, and for that reason I think it's an absolute staple in your routine if you want something really quick and minimal. If you want a more subtle bronze look on the skin, then you can definitely achieve that with this. You know, it's not going to pack a huge amount of pigment on within one swipe. This particular shade is Tan Lines, and for me and my skin tone at the moment, it works really, really nicely. They have quite a lot of other shades, so depending on your skin tone, I think you will be able to find a good match for you. In the summer, maybe I will look at picking up a slightly darker one, but this is just a really nice neutral tone for me at the moment. And again, it blends so easily and it really meshes into the base products I have on underneath. So yeah, for me, this has been a really nice daily bronzer to use. I have a couple of blush options, which for me are perfect for creating that minimal, kind of looks like you're wearing no makeup, but you know, you do have a bit of something on. These two lean a tiny bit more neutral on the skin, and I think that's why I really like them for this type of look, because again, they're not going to be too cool, they're not going to be too warm, so it just kind of meshes with the rest of the makeup that you have on, and it just kind of blends into the skin a lot nicer. So the first one I have is from Glossier. This is their Cloud Paint in Dusk. This is one of my all-time favourite blushes. I love the tone. It's just a nice kind of deeper pinky nude. I feel like this would make a really nice lipstick colour actually. But yeah, on the cheeks, it just looks really, really nice. I love the formula of these. They're really easy to blend. They are very pigmented. So one tube of this will last you a lifetime, but I really, really do adore them. They definitely help to add that nice, natural, healthy glow to the skin, which is one of the reasons why I like to reach for cream products in the first place. The second one is what I'm wearing at the moment. It's from NUDESTIX and it's their NUDES Matte in Beach Babe. This is quite a deep shade, but I find this to be really, really flattering, and it gives you that sun-kissed, you've been out in the sun and maybe you got a bit rouge. Obviously being in a stick form, they're not as creamy or liquidy as some other cream blushes I have in my collection, but that does mean that they really stick onto your skin and they are very long lasting. I like to apply this a tiny bit higher up on my cheeks, again just for that sun-kissed look, and also across the nose as well. I find that to be quite natural, and again it doesn't just mimic that natural sun-kissed look, so that's why I really do enjoy reaching for these. I don't necessarily think that minimal always has to mean effortless, although I think a lot of the times you associate one with the other. You know, it does take a tiny bit more effort to finesse the products into the skin to create a really nice flawless blended look. But if you are going for the effortless and minimal look, then a tinted brow gel is 100% what you need in your collection. I have the e.l.f. Wow Brow, which is what I've been using at the moment. The shade I have is Neutral Brown, which is a really good match for my eyebrows. And yeah, these are just the perfect one and done brow gel. They offer a nice amount of pigment, but ultimately they just help to fluff up the brows and give them a tiny bit more definition. And yeah, they take 3 seconds to swipe through and you're basically done. Don't need to faff about with a pencil or any pomade or anything like that. I really, really do think that everybody needs a tinted brow gel in their collection if you are wanting to run out the door in 2 minutes. Of course, I had to mention a cream eyeshadow. For me, that is the ultimate minimal makeup product to just create a really easy, quick and simple eye look. So I have a couple of Charlotte Tilbury options. The one I'm wearing on my eyes at the moment is the Eyes to Mesmerize in Oyster Pearl. This is a very, very, very lovely bronzy shade, a super, super appropriate one and done eyeshadow look. It gives a really nice shimmer and sheen to the eyes. It's a really nice tone, and you can build up a few layers and it just creates the most beautiful smoky look. So I really like this. The formula is very moussey, very, very blendable and easy to use with your fingers or a brush. These are quite expensive, but I found that they are lasting really nicely in my collection because the formula is a bit more whipped and a bit more airy and moussey. It's not drying up as quickly, so I really do appreciate that because obviously Charlotte Tilbury isn't cheap. So yeah, I'm happy that these are going strong in my collection, and the shade Oyster Pearl is my absolute go-to for every day. I just absolutely love it. If you're more of a stick or pencil liner eyeshadow type person, then I think the colour Chameleons are a really, really nice option. This is the shade Amber Haze. This is a really nice, universally flattering bronze, and I really do actually quite like the pencil format. If you want to do more of a smoky liner, or if you want to run some shadow on the lower lash line, this makes it super easy to do that, and you can just make it out with a brush and you're good to go. These do lay quite a lot of pigment down initially, but once you start to blend them out, they do sheer out quite nicely, and you can get a more diffused look if that's what you prefer. But ultimately you can layer it, you can build the colour, and you can get a really nice dimensional eye look just from this one product. I have 3 different lip formulas to chat about, and for me, when I'm looking for something that's quite minimal, I don't want something that is going to be super pigmented. I want it to be hydrating and easy to apply if I don't have a mirror. So if I've just thrown it in my bag and I'm pulling it out in the middle of the day, I can apply it and I know it's not going to be all over my face or look patchy if I've missed a spot or, you know, anything like that. So I have 3 which fit that bill perfectly. The first one is the Bobbi Brown Oil Infused Gloss in the shade Nude Romantic. This is definitely the glossiest out of the 3 that I have, but I really do love this formula. It's so hydrating. Because it's an oil infused gloss, you get that really nice hydrating shine, but without it being too sticky. And the shade Nude Romantic is just perfect for me for every day. It's a really nice My Lips But Better shade, which again is what I tend to reach for because it's just easy and it just melts into my lips really nicely. So I really do like these. I think this formula is 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. I do use it as a gloss sometimes, or I would just go in with this on its own, and it looks really nice, really plush, and really plumps up the lips as well. Next I have one of the Fresh Tinted Sugar Lip Balms. I really like these. I've had quite a few in the past. This particular shade is Spice, and it's a really nice warm nude. In the autumn and winter, I absolutely adored wearing this because it felt so comfortable on the lips. They're super hydrating. They smell amazing. And yeah, this particular shade is just a really nice warm pink. It goes really nicely with any kind of warm bronzy eye look that you might have going on. And yeah, in the autumn and winter, this was one that I reached for all of the time. You do have to be a bit careful with getting these on your teeth. I've definitely done that before because the formula is so hydrating and very balmy. Yeah, they do have a tendency to move about a little bit. So just be careful of that. But otherwise, I really do like this formula, super hydrating. And yeah, I really like the tinted colors that they have come out with. They are a tiny bit more pigmented than you might think. I have another tinted lip balm to share with you next, and these are definitely more pigmented than the next one that I'm going to talk about, but I really like the shades, so if you do find a shade that you like, then I would definitely recommend picking it up. Last up, I have the NARS Afterglow Lip Balm. This is in the shade Fast Lane, which is a really nice mauvey pink. This is a tiny bit more cool toned. I'm going to reapply a bit here for you. Yeah, it's a tiny bit more of a cool toned lip colour, but for the spring, I think it just adds a really nice pop of pink without being too bright and in your face. Again, being more of that tinted balm, these offer a really nice amount of hydration. I love the packaging as well. I mean, it's really nice. And this particular shade, Fast Lane, it is very similar to my natural lip colour, which I think is why I have been using it so much, because it just kind of enhances my natural lips. It makes them look a bit more plump, a bit more hydrated, and it just gives them a really nice shine without being overly glossy. So I do recommend picking these up. I absolutely love NARS, and their lip products as a whole I know are very popular and have been for a long time, and I think that these were a great addition to their line. I really hope that you enjoyed, and don't forget to leave me a comment sharing your top minimal makeup product, especially any tinted serums or tinted moisturisers that you may have come across over the past few months that you are really enjoying. There's been so many and I definitely am on the hunt for a couple more. So yeah, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!